Today, NorCal Slot Car Scene's Track Spotlight features Wright's All-American Raceway. Welcome everybody to NorCal Slot Car Scene, and today I'm talking with Wright from Florida. And the reason I contacted him is I saw his track on one of the Facebook groups, but it's just a great looking track in a fairly small space. So if you could just introduce
Mhm.
yourself and give us a few about what the track's all about.
Uh, Basically, it's a track. I had a similar track before that I built, and I had to tear it down for, personal reasons. But I finally got back into the hobby after about 10 years being away, and I had the space to do a track again. So I basically copied the last track that I had. Um, it's a little bit longer. This one's 4 feet wide by 15 feet long. It is routed. It's all braided.
Did you build the track yourself?
I went, yes, I built the track
Okay.
myself. Yes, I did. Trans Am is my favorite era of racing. So it's basically it's really not after any certain track. It's just something to look in the era, I guess, of that racing back in the late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah, I know
Um,
when I look going into turn one, I believe turn one would be on the left side of the track. I'm sitting there going,
mhm.
that looks like Riverside to me. I see the tires
Oh, really?
in the ground and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So yeah, great era in
Mhm.
racing.
This is about the fourth routed track that I've built. Um, but the second track that I've used braid on, and I really prefer the braid, especially being here in the heat of Florida. My track's out in a shop; it's not inside a air conditioning space, so the copper tape always had problems with lifting and everything from the heat and humidity outside. It's not too big. I mean, I know a lot of people like 4 lanes, 3 lanes, but for the most part, it's just me, unless a friend or two come over to race. It's basically just me using it. So I didn't need like 4 lanes or whatever.
I was going to ask you that. Do you have any formal racing on
Mhm.
it, or is it just primarily friends that come
Uh,
over and want to enjoy cars?
yeah, just friends that come over. A good friend of mine is David Reinecke. Back in 2002 or 2003 is basically when I got into 132nd scale slot cars. And I saw pictures of his track and I emailed him and how did you do it? I mean, we both had scale electric sport tracks at the time, but I loved the whole scenic thing that he had done. And I kind of just fell, right into doing the scenery stuff, to make it look more realistic. So that's basically where my scenery stuff comes from. It's just seeing how, like the model train layouts, how cool it is. It just brings more realism to the track than just having, since it's not it's not really a big racing track like commercial racing. So, you can have the nice scenery and stuff. So
You know, I see you've got some elevation change too. It's not just a flat track.
yeah, yeah, I did do the elevation change. Yeah, I like that too. It brings more realism to it. Instead of just being a flat, a basic flat track. Um, I was limited on my space. I really wanted to do the corkscrew from Laguna Seca somehow in the track, but I just didn't have the room, and it was I needed more elevation to get that high, to do that, but it didn't work out. But I did kind of do like on the far end of the track by the Dunlop Bridge. I did do like a little kink in there. So
So what's your favorite feature of the tracker? Do you have one?
um let's see. I I like the flow of the track. I mean, it's not too technical, but it's technical enough. Um, you know, uh Probably one of my favorite aspects of it is doing the scenery, like the rocks and everything that I did. They're basically just plaster cast, and then I stuck them on there, and with I use a product called Sculpt a Mold, which kind of can blend it all in together. It was important to have a pit area too. I wanted to have like a little pit area to make it look kind of, realistic that way too.
Well, I like the pit area in that it's got
Hmm.
the easy up type of awnings, and it
Hmm.
looks like that era.
Yeah, thank you.
How long did it take you? Let's say the routing portion. and then maybe the landscape portion from start to finish.
The routing portion, I did that and I basically routed it all in one day. It took me a few days to do the braiding, and probably like 3 days to route it and get all the braiding down. Well, I had to paint it obviously too. So I would say maybe 5 days, start to finish from, routing and painting and joining it together and doing the elevation changes.
So I assume the landscaping took longer.
Yeah, I've taken longer on the landscape, and I kind of put it with the heat of the summer. It was hard to spend a lot of time out there. So when I had time to start getting, a lot of the trees, I just put all the trees on the track in the back side of it this past week. So you know, I kind of want to get it finished, but then I don't, because then it's like, well, now what am I going to do?
That was my next question. Is it finished, or is there
Uh-huh.
always something, or is there something specific that you want to add?
Yeah, I still have you can see actually in the front two corners, I still have some landscaping to do in there. Um, the back the back corner by the champion sign, that corner, I just put the rocks on that and just put a base coat of paint on them. The way you see it right now is taking me a year to get it that far.
That's pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
If anybody's done this type of thing before, like you said, the
Uh-huh.
routing is not terribly hard if you have the skills,
Hmm.
and goes
Yeah.
fairly quick, but the landscaping is another issue entirely.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just, it's a labor of love basically. So, it's just kind of, it's just my hobby, I mean, if I'm not, and sometimes it's hard, I always say this is one of my favorite sayings is sometimes it's hard to put the controller down to actually work on the track, you know, but
Yeah, that's me, because I'm kind of I'm more into the racing than the modeling, and I
mhm.
love the modeling, but that's not my thing,
Yeah,
and I'm not very good at it. I
yeah.
love going to landscape tracks. We do have quite a few in the Sacramento area. This is the first time I've done a video on a track that's not in my area, and the pictures that
Oh
you
well.
had on Facebook allow me to do
Mhm.
that. Well, I want to thank you for taking the time, and thank you for building this. This is a
Mhm.
great looking track,
Oh
and
yeah.
like I said, my favorite thing about it is it's very
Hmm.
natural
I
looking.
try not to make it too over the top, just kind of make it look realistic and just have fun with it basically.
Well, Lee,
Mhm.
thank you very much for coming on NorCal Slot Car Scene. It's nice meeting you, first of all.
All right. Yep. Yep.
And,
Nice meeting you too. Thank you for having me.
and thanks, Lee, for taking the time to talk to NorCal Slot Car Scene. I know you'll enjoy taking a closer look at his track.